Hey guys, Doug the Michigan Piper coming to you from my shop today. I am actually doing a Doug Outdoors video, as you've probably already seen. But I wanted to go over some cook kits that I've used, and like talk a little bit about what I normally use, what I have used, what I may or may not use again. And yes, it's Doug Outdoors. We're not technically outdoors, we're out in the barn, but it is the middle of winter here in Michigan. So today wasn't too bad, but still not very conducive for being out in the wet snow. And tell you the truth, I ran out of time today because it's already nighttime. So I figured, well, I better get this out of the way now before it gets too much further. So, but I did want to go over some of the stuff with you guys. I'm going to start right off the bat with the Stanley Adventure set, cook set. And this is how I pack it. So it's more than just the Stanley cook set, but I'll go over that first. So we'll take this off of here. So this is a Stanley, I think they call it the Adventure cook set. You can get this about 15 bucks at Walmart, guys. Very cool little set. This is my go-to. This is when I'm going in the woods by myself, usually I have this. There's a couple of modifications that I've made to it. I'll show you here in a minute. But you have this little clamp here that goes over the top. That just pops right off like that and locks into place. It's got a slide here. You can slide down or up to lock it in place, or to, maybe that in the camera. You squeeze that together to get it to go back up. So that's what that lock is for, so it doesn't squeeze together when you don't want it to. If you take the lid off of that, inside you have 2 nesting cups. If I can get both of them out here. And I only carry one with me, guys. The reason being is because I'm one person. I don't need 2 cups. I can use that space for other stuff. Normally I don't, but if I think that I'm gonna need to not set a fire and bring along a cook stove, I can put that in there. But normally for me, I usually have some kind of like coffee, tea, something like that in there. Unless I'm gonna be cooking something, I might, put a dry bag of, a Ziploc bag full of a bean soup or something in there. I can tell you some of the mods that I've made to this. Now, this is a very popular item for a lot of what's called bushcrafters. If you're familiar with the term, if you're not familiar with the term, just basically it's trying to do as much as you can with as little as possible in the woods. And I'm telling you, this is a very cool little deal to do that with. Now you can see here, you got some graduated markings on there that are impressed, so you can on the inside as well. So that's one of my pet peeves. If I got a stainless steel container and I'm pouring like this, I can't see through the container to see where it's coming up, so you have to guesstimate the line. When they have those impressed indentations like that, then you can look in there and see exactly where your measurement's going to be. Some of the mods that I've made to it is obviously the one that sticks out the most is this. This is a fish. I think it's an 18-inch stainless steel fish leader. You get these at Walmart for a couple bucks for a pack of them. And what that does for you is once you get your food in there, then you can put that lid on and you can hang that. Now, if you looked at my video that I did in the beginning of this series where I went out in the woods, I didn't hang mine because I lost that leader in the move. So I went out and bought another one now, but it's so nice to be able to hang that like that. And then when you're ready, you saw they had the handkerchief. You can get the handkerchief put over the handle if it's hot. A lot of times, or most of the time, it's not. Pick that up off of there, or you can just pick up on your lid while it's hanging and see how the stuff's doing, stir it, whatever you got to do. One of the things this also has that I like is it's got this little strainer here, which you don't see with a lot of cook kits. So if you do have something that you want to strain off, like the pine needle tea that I showed you in the video, you can do that there as well. Another one of the mods I made is these come with a little plastic tab right here. And we found, a lot of us have found that just isn't significant enough, I guess, for lack of a better word. They melt in the heat. So you take those off and you put a little key ring on it, and it does the exact same thing. So those are the two of the mods that I did to this one. Not major mods or anything like that. But now one of the things that you can do as well, like I said, this is 15 bucks. They also have a stainless steel cup at Walmart. And I'm not suggesting that you do all your shopping at Walmart, but this is one of those things where it's kind of a diamond in the rough, right? But you can get these cups for about $5 at Walmart. They're Ozark Trail cups. The handle comes out like that, wraps around. just a normal stainless steel cup. But what I do, like you saw, I take a handkerchief, which you can use if you're out in the woods and you have some water that might have some debris in it. You can run the water through that or strain it through that. What I do is you put this back like that, and I'm going to do it backwards here, but you shove all that in there like that. I'm just doing this down and dirty, guys, but you like that, and then this nests right down the side of that. So it's one kit. So now you have something to drink your tea or whatever you're making, or if you want, you can put something in that cup to boil while you're making something else in the cook set. Guys, this cook set I love. This is my go-to. For 20 bucks, you're on the road and rolling. So really, really like this one. This is by far my favorite. So that's that one. The next one we're going to talk about is the Coleman mess kit. And I don't even know if you can get these anymore. These were going for, what did I write down? 23 bucks. Comes in a mesh container like that. Now, yes, it's a lot larger, but for me, it's worth it, especially if I have somebody else with me and I'm maybe making a meal for two. There's all kinds of room in this thing. You've got two pans, or a pot and a pan, okay? The nice part about this is, and sorry, I'll keep going off frame here, but the nice thing about this is that it comes with a handle, okay? And both of these, this pot and the pan that come together, that handle, if I can do this on camera, right? Slides right down into there like that and locks into place. So now you have a handle for your pot or your pan. I love that because when you're done, instead of folding over, you just pop that off of there, throw it in there, and it becomes part of your kit. What I will tell you is that this is loud and rattles a lot in there if you're not careful. So you need to make sure that you got some padding. Now, again, I've got another rag inside that mess kit along with the handkerchief. And the other part about this is you can use this pan portion as a topper for your pot if that's all you're doing, and then you take take that on and off at will. Now, this comes with a plastic cup. I really don't prefer the plastic cups, guys. I just, if I'm out, especially in Michigan, like a day like today, I think it got to 40 degrees today, which is not bad. It's a day that I could have gone out in the woods. But I don't like the plastic cups because if you have a warm drink, they get cooled too quick. So what I did was, again, it's Ozark Trail. I can't say enough about Ozark Trail. You're not going to get the highest quality stuff, but you're going to get stuff that, will take the use. And they won't take a beating most of the time. Sometimes they will, but they'll at least take the use that you're putting them through. But this is a little insulated cup. I think I got this for like $5. I don't like, a lot of guys are like, well, I got my little tin cup, and that's great. Well, that's good for you, but in 5 minutes, your drink's going to be cold. So this one's insulated. And then in it, I have a cook stove, which I'm going to go over in my next video. Also in my kit, I'll have some kind of flint and steel kit, which we've talked about before. I also have a lighter in case things go really bad and it's just not, I try to rely on my flint and steel kit. I don't do it just to play. I do it so that I know how to do it when time comes to it, but there's nothing like a good old Bic lighter to get you out of a jam. So I will say also, guys, if you would decide, I want to try to put my own kit together, or I don't like this cup, or I don't like that, I've got things like this that just sit in a box, but sometimes I take them out in the woods. This is a top of a Stanley insulated coffee insulate. I can't think of the name of it now. Coffee holder, right? This screwed on the top of it, but it's a great little cup, right? It's got some thick plastic walls. Again, it's not insulated, not the best, but summertime or something like that, it's a great little cup. You can just toss it in your bag or put it in that kit like that, and it'll do you well. The next item up is, now I will say the difference between those two last kits, the two kits I just talked about, the Stanley kit and the Coleman kit. The Stanley kit is much more packable, smaller, and it has its uses, right? Almost everything you can do, but the problem is that the bottom of it's narrow. So if you're actually setting it on something, you have to be very careful. The Coleman kit, it's wider, it's more stable. But it's harder to hang if you were to try to hang it like I did the Stanley kit. So it just depends on what you're doing, right? If you're out doing bushcraft stuff and you have very few things with you, the Stanley kit might suit you better. If you're going camping with the Scouts or something like that, where you don't have to worry about weight or any of that kind of stuff, then that Coleman kit is just fine as well. This next one is an Esbit kit. Now this is a much more expensive kit. It's titanium. This was, I had to write all this stuff down. I want to say, yeah, I think it was like 40, 45 bucks for the cheapest. But I didn't pay 40, 45 bucks for it. I won this, I think I won it. I either won it or got a gift certificate, something like that. I just don't pay that much for stuff, guys. I really don't. I think you can get by with a lot less. I think that a lot of this stuff is sold as a, I don't know. They do a good job of selling it. Let's put it that way. So this little kit here also comes in a little mesh bag. Got a little lid on top of it. Inside I've got my cook kit, which I'll go over in the next video like I talked about, but also inside, that nests inside, is your little fire pot. So what you do is this nests on top of that. You put your lid back on top. And again, you got the graduated markings. Your handles come out. These are actually insulated handles, which I don't really care for, just because sometimes I forget. And if I leave that closed and put it over a fire and walk away from it and they're sitting next to the pot, they could melt. I don't know if it's high heat or not, high heat plastic. But cool little kit. Now they do sell some little fire bricks or little blocks that you can stick in there and boil your water with. I'm not a big fan of them. Doesn't mean there's anything wrong with them. I just don't use them. So what I may do is I may either stick sticks in there, or I might just take this off completely and put it over a fire. But that's completely up to you. It's a cool little kit. It's light because it's titanium. But again, pretty small. So, if you're doing one of those Mountain House, whatever they are, meals, the freeze-dried meals, this would be a good one for that, because you boil the water and pour it in there and don't think anything else about it. So that is the Esbit one. And then I wanted to do an honorable mention for the Stanley French press. And yes, I said French press. No, I'm not spoiled. But guys, this is the reason why I'm doing honorable mention, is because this is just a French press. I've seen some French presses out there for the woods, and that's all you can use it for. And if you're familiar with Dave Canterbury, he always says 2 is 1, 1 is none when it comes to uses for things. Well, the nice part about this is that's your insert, but now what do I have? I have a whole nother cooking container if I need it. Okay, so what I usually try to do is I'll take this French press out with my Stanley cook kit. They sit side by side really well in a bag, and I can make coffee or tea or whatever in this while I'm making soup or something in that. And the insert that comes out of that, just a lid there. And then of course I keep a bag of coffee in there when I'm ready to go, but there's just, you can see right through it. That's just a mesh down here in the bottom. So what you do is you boil your water first. When your water is boiled, you throw your grounds in there, get them going good. When you're ready to and actually I think, yeah, so that lid fits on the steel, or the stainless steel. So when you're done boiling your water, boiling your coffee or whatever you're doing, you take that off, you push this down in, put your lid back on. It's a pour lid, right? There's a notch in it right there. Put that back in, and now you can actually flip your handles out and pour that whatever beverage you have in there. So very cool little kit here. Again, I like this one because you can use it for more than one thing. Now it's not insulated, so if you are making coffee, if there's just one of you, you're probably gonna, unless you have a really big insulated cup besides this, you're probably gonna have it go cold on you unless you keep it over the fire, which is obviously an option. So I want to give that an honorable mention. I think that's another 15 bucks. I got mine at, I think it was Dick's Sporting Goods. No, I'm sorry, this is 25 bucks. Dick's Sporting Goods, I think, is where I got this one, but you can find them other places. Strongly strongly suggest this as well. So guys, those are just a couple of my setups. Again, you can use whatever you want to put a kit together. Those are just the ones that I've used. If you do some searches on these, you'll see other guys that have done reviews on them as well. And of course, it all depends on where you're at and what you're doing and how much weight you want to carry. So guys, at that, I hope you're all doing well. And until next time, you take care.